Welcome back to this week's edition of Modern Tech and Transformation. I am very excited to have our Chief Delivery Officer at Resolve Tech Solutions, Anup Sinha, with me this week. Thank you, Anup, for being here.
Hey, thanks, Kyla. Thanks for having me here.
You may have seen Anup on some of our social media channels talking about the managed service provider space. But for those who have not seen the videos or gotten to know you, Anup, tell us a little bit about how you got to this place in your career and your background.
I'm Anup Sinha. I look after the delivery aspect of RTS. I have got over 25 years of experience in the IT industry. I have worked across multiple industries, utilities, defense, federal sector, and I've also worked across multiple technology platform, whether it's Oracle databases, SAP HANA, SQL Server. Lately, I have been helping customer to migrate their SAP and non-SAP workload to the cloud.
Great. Now, excited to have you. As you can tell, Anup's a plethora of knowledge, so he's going to share some very valuable insights today. The main topic we're going to talk about today is the value a managed service provider, especially in the cloud, can bring to your business. As many of you know that listen to our podcast, cloud is continuing to be on the rise. To support AI enablement and infrastructure required for AI in a cost-effective manner, you need to be in the cloud. A lot of technologies are changing their architecture to move customers into the cloud. It's the future, right? And we all want to be future-proof in business.
Absolutely.
So with that being said, talk to us a little bit about being a managed service provider in managed cloud delivery.
Sure, Carla. So for us, managed service provider or the managed cloud delivery, that's what we call ourselves. For us, it's a three-letter word, WWW. The first W stands for why. This is the phase when the customer is trying to figure out why they should go to the cloud. What are the benefits of going to the cloud? So that's where we get engaged with the customer. We work with them. We try to build different business cases. By going to the cloud, there are the gains. And once the customer is convinced with the why phase, then the next question that the customer asks themselves is who? Who is going to take us to the cloud? So that's where we as RTS, we become the key differentiator for our customer. Till this date, we have migrated over 40 customers to the cloud. We have migrated their large SAP, non-SAP systems. And we are cloud agnostic. We support customer when they decide to run their workload in AWS, Azure, or even Google Cloud. During this phase, we work with the customer. We take over their discovery phase. We use various tools and automation. We figure out the kind of software that is running in their landscape. So we work with the customer. We figure out the software and the various tools that we should be using for migrating these large SAP and non-SAP workload to the cloud. While this phase is going on, we start working on building the infrastructure in the cloud, which is very important. We follow the best industry practice when it comes to building the infrastructure in the cloud, whether it's building the VPC, defining the routing table, defining the connection for the customer. We pay special attention to the security aspect of the customer. As you know, security is very important in the cloud. Once the infrastructure is built, then we start working with the hyperscaler. We start tapping into their best practices, best available services that we can leverage in the cloud. And we start building various machines and various file systems for the customer in the cloud. We make sure that not only the customer is getting what they already have in their on-premise system, but they're also going to get the better experience once they go to the cloud. We pay special attention to high availability, performance, and of course, cost is the important aspect of it. So this is where we make a difference as who is going to do the migration for them. Just to give you an example, a few years back, when a customer decided to migrate one of their largest SAP system to the cloud, they had to incur a downtime of almost 2 days. The technology available at that point of time were not smart enough to do the migration real time. With the evolution, now we are at a stage where we can migrate the customer real time. Many of our customers are noticing less than 2 hours of downtime on a given day. Just take your production system down for 2 hours on premise, and after 2 hours, you are up and operational in the cloud.
That's amazing. And I can't even imagine having 2 days of downtime, the cost repercussions, right?
Oh,
So
absolutely.
changing from 2 days to 2 hours, that sounds a lot better. from a business standpoint.
Absolutely. Imagine you're trying to check your account balance and your bank website is unavailable. This could be a very frustrating experience for you.
Yes.
So this is our who phase, and I can continue to talk about who. We have so much of experience in the who phase.
I have a question about the who. So, do most, in your experience working with these clients, do most of them have the staff in-house to do this? Or is working with a managed service provider almost necessary to ensure success? Will it expedite the success as opposed to having to hire, or do most people just have a plethora of infrastructure team members sitting around waiting?
Unfortunately, most of them don't, because once the migration to the cloud journey starts, you are essentially running two projects in parallel. Not only you have to take care of your operational aspect, systems which are in-house, you have to make sure that they are up and operational, and at the same time, you are working on a project to migrate the workload to the cloud. So that's where our experience becomes very handy for the customer. We have a team of professional services, a group of people who have got over 20 years of experience on an average in the SAP area, and they start working with you. They make sure that we use the industry supported tool by these vendors. In the case of SAP, we use software upgrade manager or software provisioning tool. And during this journey, we also work with the customer and we help them to do the testing once they are in the cloud, which is an important aspect of it. Not only we help the customer to do the technical testing, the functional testing, we also go above and beyond and we do the performance testing for them. We make sure that the systems are going to be able to handle the workload in the cloud.
So you mentioned testing as well. When you've seen organizations try to do this in-house, what piece of testing do they tend to forget about? Because it sounds like you do some really robust testing, which is a definite value add.
Absolutely. So many people pay attention to the technical testing where they mostly log into the system and they make sure that the interfaces are working, the technical testing is working as expected. People pay special attention to the functional testing, which is basically the bread and butter of running the application, the software. One thing that they miss out is the performance testing, the load testing. Is your system going to sustain the load? Is it going to perform optimal? As you know, in cloud, everything is metered. You pay the price for a cheap disk, you get the performance of a cheap disk. Some of these disks are designed to work at a peak for the next 30 minutes, and once you exhaust all the credit, the performance drops. So that's where our experience becomes very handy, and when we design these solutions in the cloud, we make sure that we are using the right kind of disk, right kind of services, whether it's elastic file system, network storage. Not only that, all these disks, they come with associated throughput, so we pay special attention to the technical design. We accomplish this by doing the disk striping, make sure that we are using the proper type of RAID in the cloud. So all this comes with our over 10 years of experience of running the SAP workload in the cloud.
And I know some of the CFOs look at the cost of cloud infrastructure. They maybe thought, we're going to have savings due to migrating to the cloud. Sometimes that's true, sometimes that's not. How does your team work with cost containment and cloud cost economics to ensure high performance at the best possible rate?
So in cloud fintech, the expense that you are talking about, it's very critical to the customer, and that's where we sit in the middle between the hyperscaler and to our end customer. Many people still think like the on-premise days, where if you have to use 10 terabyte of disk, you need to make sure that you pre-order the disk, because in the event of a crisis, you're not going to reach out to the vendor, ask them to deliver the disk, you mount it to the machine and you start consuming them. This is where cloud makes the difference. Everything is elastic. We tell the customer, instead of allocating 10 terabyte disk on the very first day, start with 2 terabyte of disk, and as and when we see the growth, which we continuously provide the as and when we see the growth in the cloud, we continuously keep updating our customer that, hey, the growth is happening and we need to allocate more disk. So that's where we start getting into consuming and allocating more disk. So these kind of things, they are the key differentiator for our customer when it comes to controlling the price in the cloud.
Okay, no, sounds good. That's definitely on a lot of executives' minds, is how can we control the price and get the most out of our infrastructure. Another interesting thing you just mentioned, crisis. I know your team does a lot of cloud patching to help mitigate crises. and does a lot of patching. So, talk to me a little bit about that process. That is a real game changer for your team and how you can serve your customers.
So, Carla, this again falls under the who category. That's where RTS becomes a key differentiator for our customer. Like I said, I have over 25 years of experience in the industry, and patching was being looked upon as a job that nobody wants to do. Who wants to wake up in the middle of the night and do the patching for the customer? I personally believe that going forward for the next 10 years, patching is going to be a career. There are many people who are going to become a patcher. At any given month, we are patching around 6,000 machines running across multiple hyperscaler. We are constantly patching 7 days a week, 24 by 7. When people are celebrating Thanksgiving with their families, celebrating Christmas with their family, my team is patching their environment behind the scene.
Ultimate peace of mind.
Ultimate peace of mind. Many software vendor, whether it's the operating system vendor or the application vendor, they continuously release the security patches, and we make sure that we keep ahead in the game. We patch their environment within 30 days time period.
Okay.
Not only patching, we also pay special attention to the software upgrade. There are many database vendors that keep releasing the patches, the upgrade every quarter. And right now we have defined a process where once a year we upgrade, we do the major upgrade for the operating system. If somebody is running on version 7, we take them to version 8 within 1 year time span. This project runs for a month. And once the operating system is upgraded, then we get into the continuous kernel patch. If you're talking about SAP, every quarter they release a new kernel patch. And 3 quarters a year, we keep applying these kernel upgrades to our environment. As far as database upgrade is concerned, then we apply the database upgrade at least once a quarter. And there are many times when we do it on demand. If there is a critical security patch or vulnerability that has been released, we immediately jump at it. We take through the proper regression testing. We apply it to the non-production environment first, and then we finally apply it to the production environment.
Right. Yeah. Doing the dirty work that other people don't want to do, but it makes all the difference.
I'm glad that you brought this point because anytime I meet some of my co-workers here at RTS, and if they are telling me that they are getting bored with their job, I just tell them, come and do patching with us.
And you mentioned patcher. Is that the technical term? If someone was looking for a job in cloud patching, are they searching patcher?
Exactly. So we started a concept here at RTS. We call it the Patch Pro.
Okay.
A group of people sitting under my patching tower, and all they do is to think about patching. When we started our patch journey, we go by the numbers, and we were taking somewhere around 10 minutes per machine. That was highly inefficient process. We were making mistakes. Right now, we are running at a point where we are patching every machine in less than 58 seconds.
Wow. And how many machines are we talking?
So we are talking almost 6,000 machines a month.
That's amazing. And at the beginning, to wrap up, you mentioned 3 W's. We've talked about 2 W's. What is the third W?
So third W is very close to my heart. This is called what next? You decided to go to the cloud. You are in the cloud. I talked about patching and all the good things that RTS can do for you. We are always thinking about what next. What is the value add proposition we as RTS can bring you to the customer? There are a few examples that I'm going to talk to you. One thing that we do with the customer is the blue-green patching. For any customer, a mid to large size customer, when they are getting into their production environment patching, we are talking a downtime for almost 3 to 6 hours. This is the traditional way of patching, and the way things used to work. You log into the environment, you shut down the application, you shut down the servers, you start patching, you bring up the application, you do the validation, you release it to the customer. For this entire 2 to 6 hours period, the system is not available to the customers. Going back to my initial comment, imagine you are trying to check your bank account and the website is not available to you because of the patching. That's not good. That's not a good customer experience, end customer experience. So that's where we innovated something called blue-green patching. And this goes back to the who part of the conversation, who is going to take us to the cloud. So when we are designing the solutions for you in the cloud, we also keep this blue-green patching in mind. So when we start building the VPC, we make sure that your workload is evenly distributed between the 2 availability zones. And the whole idea is that we want to leverage this design during the patching. So what happens in a blue-green patching, we shut down half of your workload, we patch the environment, we bring it up. Using the software and automation, this patched environment now becomes your primary environment. That's where all your traffic is going. That's where the end users are connecting. Behind the scene, my team gets back into the patching of the other side of the environment. And once both sides are patched, we just release it to the customer. Next month, we do the exact same thing and we start patching the first environment. And once that is done, then we start patching the second environment.
So no disruption in operations.
Almost no disruption to the operations. Right now, we are noticing that the end user is experiencing a downtime of almost 15 to 30 minutes when we do this blue-green patching. This is much better than having the system down for 6 hours.
Absolutely. 6 hours is basically a whole workday.
Absolutely.
So, well, great. Thank you, Anoop, for being with us today. As you can tell, having a managed service provider, especially in managed cloud delivery, can be very valuable. If you're just moving to the cloud, it's going to expedite your journey, right? And if you're in the cloud, it can help enhance your operations and your cost savings. So thank you again.
Thanks, Carla. Thanks for having me here.
Yep. We'll see you next time.